All right, all right, all right. Thank everybody for tuning in to Blacklisted MX. We got another one for you today. This one's a little bit different. He's not a pro. He's not doing any racing, but he is a big fan of moto and supercross. So we figured out we'll do something a little different to add to the table. So his name is Josh Palmateer. How you doing, Josh?
I'm good, Damon. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate it. Hopefully, this spring I'll be getting back into racing. That's the goal. But as you know, with doing your podcast, it's kind of hard doing the side business and having to get back into the bike as well.
Oh yeah, yeah. So you spent some time racing as a youth, huh?
Yeah, I did. I did a little bit of. I started out doing some hare scrambles first,
Okay.
which was in southern Okanagan,
Mm-hmm.
and then I went and did some motocross racing in Kelowna. And then, yeah, around here where I live now in Kamloops, I've done a bit of racing here. So the last time I think I was racing was around 1920.
So you do mostly your racing the GNCC stuff, or do you actually do
No,
moto
no,
stuff?
I wanted to be in the moto stuff. That's just how I kind of started, just got my
Mm-hmm.
feet wet
Mm-hmm.
when I think I was about 14, 15. Because I was actually, not going to lie, a bit of a late starter. So, yeah, there you
Don't
I
even
moved in.
sweat that, dude. Look at John Dowd, man.
Perfect example,
you
yeah,
know. So it happens to a lot of guys. It happens to the best of us, man. But a lot of times we pick up speed and make up the time difference. You know what I mean? So it ends up being that
exactly.
way, man. So you're a diehard two stroke guy, aren't you?
Well, to be honest with you, actually, that was my second only two-stroke ever. When
Oh,
I
really?
first started at about 13, 12,
Hmm.
I had a KX80, but it was a 1980 KX80. Like, it
Oh.
was pretty clapped out, we'll call
Hmm.
it.
Hmm.
And so when I bought this YZ250, it was like Craigslist, not very good shape,
Yep,
right? So
that's
it was actually
Craigslist.
my first project. I had never done one like that. And because I had been watching all these YouTube videos of people doing it themselves. And so I wanted to take my kind of myself to the next level. So I got into that and I built it up. And there were a few times where I was just like with two strokes because I had never ridden them before. I was always four strokes. Um, After I had the KX80, I had a CRF 230, so an
Hmm.
off road bike.
Yep.
And then I went actually into a CRF 450
Oh wow.
because uh, at the time when I was living with my biological father, we'll call it,
Hmm.
uh, he was into road street racing, like crotch rockets.
Okay.
So he kind of wanted to secretly transfer me over, but I wasn't having any of that. I'm moto like people that I've even my parents now they've seen like you can't take me away from this. Like I've
Yeah.
tried.
Yeah, yeah. Once moto's in your blood and you get that shot, man, that's a wrap. You know what I mean? It's in them veins, man. So
I've tried to substitute it with work, with other sports like hockey, because I used to play that as a kid. You can't do it.
no,
Can't do it.
no, no. So you still get out and ride every once in a while? How's that out? I mean, I know there's no probably no riding now, but I mean, when the weather's right, yeah, are you still riding a two stroke?
Well, I actually just sold it 2 months ago
Okay.
to a nice couple that actually is from Ontario, where I grew up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, so, sorry. The plan is here is to sell the two-stroke, which I
Mm-hmm.
did, and
Mm-hmm.
then next spring get into a 254 stroke, go back
Okay.
to the four-stroke, just because like I had so many learning curves with the two-stroke, and I just wanted to go back to something I could depend on every day. You
Mm-hmm.
know, all I have to do is just push a button, and you're good to go. So
The older you get, the more simple you want your life to be, huh? Just push a button, man. I missed the kickstart days, though. I have to say that. You-
don't get me wrong, like when it ran, this grin was ear to ear,
oh
dude.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
the sound, just the sound, it makes you feel like you're doing twice as fast as what you're actually doing.
yeah.
Like it's so much fun. It actually brings the fun again, like they say in dirt bikes again, and that's the little kick I needed
Hmm.
to bring me back full. Um, because I kind of went through a little bit of phase where I didn't have a bike,
Hmm.
but yeah, yeah, two strokes are the jam. But when it comes to like when you say your daily driver, I want to get a YZ250F for sure, especially
Okay.
since like Star Yamaha,
Yeah, yeah.
bro.
Yeah, I spent most of my times riding 125s and two strokes growing up, man. I've had quite a few 80s, 125s, 250s, and I eventually, when I was working for an exhaust company, they had a race team there, and I ended up picking up a bike from the race team, and it was my first four stroke RMZ 250. And it was kind of when the time when they started coming out, and it was kind of like a blend of Kawasaki and Suzuki. Like the early on, they kind of had did a bike together, and honestly, I couldn't get used to it. I couldn't get used to the engine braking in the corners and stuff like that. And I just seemed like it just never could adapt to it. So I always stuck it out to a two stroke. And since I've been in Ontario, I don't have a bike. My bike's still at home. I actually sold that RMZ to a friend of mine and picked up another two stroke. And I've been here. That two stroke sits at home, and I'm dying to get another bike and start riding again this spring, man. It's killing me not being able to ride, especially doing all the interviews and hearing all the stories and watching everybody ride and stuff like that, man. I can't wait to get back out there. So
I feel your pain. I'm looking at mountains of snow all around me here, so I feel your
yeah,
pain,
man.
dude.
Yeah, I know what you mean. So, man, how has motocross changed your life? You think?
Dude, it's honestly been everything to me. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's for not really having a family background in this sport.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how it's come into my life because um, my adopted father, who is a hardcore Toronto Maple Leafs fan, who I am
Okay.
a Maple Leafs fan, so we have that. If we have that in common, but yeah, from the age of 4, I would play hockey, and I played multiple teams a year, so I was heavily into hockey.
Okay.
But where motocross came in for me, honestly, was I was flipping through the channels on Canadian TV, or whatever it was, Sportsnet, I think it was at the time that had it.
Mm-hmm.
And here's JSR and Marco Dubé and all the guys back from then,
Yep.
and I'm like this is when they were kids, too, like young guys coming in.
Okay.
So yeah, it was like a mud race. I think it was. It was like full on mud race, and ever since then, it's shaped me because everything that I do, my workouts, the video, the editing, um, why I try to get better, majority stems from motocross. Like
Mm-hmm.
I I may not race as much as I like. Trust me, if I had the choice, I would have been in the AMA right now. But we
Yeah.
have that choice if we want it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I still train as if I was a racer. I try to. I try to always have something to push me, to have a goal, to look forward to. Because if I don't,
Mm-hmm.
myself, I get cranky.
Yeah.
To say it simple, like I have to push for something. So, like, um, even though I may not have a bike right now, and I may not race this spring, I may have to wait for the fall because also depending on bikes right now, it's so
Yeah.
hard to get
Yeah.
bikes.
Yeah.
That's another story.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I always try to keep myself like as if I'm gonna race and stuff like that. So I have
Yeah.
myself pushing forward, um, and then your life just seems to go much better that way. You
Yeah.
just stay ready for stuff. You're on point. So
Yeah, I've always had, it's a good outlet, man, just to kind of clear your mind, even exercising, even if you don't have a bike, you know what I'm saying? Just to kind of put your mind in a totally different trance, so to speak, you know what I mean? To get your mind out of what's normal. And
mhm.
it's always a good thing to have some type of outlet to be able to breathe differently, man, in a different, and to get a bit of fresh air as well, you know what I'm saying? So motocross has kind of been one of those things for me as a kid. Like I kind of share some of the same background as you, man. Like my father was never really there, so I didn't really have a solid foundation. I don't want to get in too much into my story because I'm gonna actually tell it one day. You know what I mean? I don't want to spoil it, but I didn't have too much of a foundation as a father, so I kind of learned everything on my own from like even just learning how to throw a basketball or football or riding a motorcycle. Like it was always friends. When I first put my leg over a bike, I was probably roughly around 4 years of age, but it was a friend's dad's bike. And they kind of put me on there, and from that point on, I fell in love. And then when I was 6, I was able to learn how to ride a bike, and from that on it prospered. But I've never had the foundation or the support. Everything I did was kind of like what I wanted to do, and motocross is one of those things that kind of saved my life, to be honest with you, because I was going in different directions without a father. You know what I'm saying? And the circumstances that I lived in was a little bit different. But moto, it kept me grounded, man. It definitely kept me grounded. So moto is a good thing, man. I look at it in many different ways besides just watching it, because like I said, it was a real big part of my life from an early start, and I think it was there for a reason. So it is bringing me to this point now. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel about moto. I love it. I'm a junkie. It's been put in my veins, and I'm an addict of it. So that's how I feel about it.
I'd rather you be addicted to this than something else, right?
Exactly my point. So man, you're a personal trainer, right? I take it you're a personal trainer. You always got videos, or you just doing it on your own?
To be honest, bro, I'm just doing it on my own. Like,
Okay.
I don't have the certificates to say I can train anybody, but
1 day class, buddy. Get it. I'm
yeah,
selling,
I've been
man.
to the school of hard knocks, let's put it that way. I've
Okay.
learned my fair share, and
Hmm.
like uh, a lot of it too was from like hard labor. I used to be
Okay.
into hard labor a
Hmm.
lot, so just incorporating that,
Hmm.
yeah, I've had my fair share.
Yeah, man. I was thinking about you in a sense where, like, if you ever thought about like out where you're at. I mean, not sure how close you are to a lot of guys who ride and train, but a lot of up and coming guys. You could probably be a good mentor and a good trainer for some of these guys that are coming up in the ranks, man.
Well, I appreciate that first off because I've never really had anybody tell me, uh, someone that I look up to tell me that I'm doing well, so I appreciate that.
Anytime.
Um, uh, to be honest, I don't have. That's where I'm trying to branch out right now. I've
Hmm.
kind of been on my own and did my own thing right now.
Hmm.
So this is where I'm kind of breaking my comfort zone, and
Okay.
I got to get myself out to the track and meet more
Yeah.
people.
Yeah. Yeah.
Then eventually, yeah, I would like to do something like that. I don't necessarily want to just stick to the fitness stuff because
Okay.
I like to. What I'm trying to do is like do a well-rounded, um, more of a whole life kind of deal, like a
Yeah.
mindset,
Yes.
fitness,
Hmm.
and also like that. Because I just don't want to stick to just strictly. I just don't want to be like Ryan Hughes or something like that, where
Yeah.
I'm just
Yeah.
strictly fitness, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
But
And
and and to bring up the name, the name of the company is 59 Built, by the way. I would love to have a hat or a T-shirt for you right now, but we're
well,
still working on that.
don't even worry, man. I got you one coming as well, man. Too. I'll send one out your way for sure. And I know
Thank
whoever's
you.
listening to this, I know everybody. I owe you guys shirts. I just haven't had time to get the shirts. I have the shirts. I just got to get them made. So just give me a little bit of time on that one. But everybody's got the shirts coming. Who I said I would give them out to. So you're on that list now.
Hey, I understand. I'm in the same boat, bro.
So tell me, what exactly is 5'9" built? I mean, I've seen that on your profile and stuff. What can you tell me a little bit about that?
Okay, so 59 Built, the whole name came from a good friend of mine, Eric. He actually had a 5.9 Cummins diesel, and I think I was around 18, 19, and he has his own landscaping company that does very well in Kelowna
Hmm.
here in BC. And that number 5.9, I just fell in love with the engine, like the Cummins. It's
Hmm.
strong diesel, whatever. And I actually had a diesel for a long time,
Okay.
and so that 5.9 really stuck with me. I'd put it on my hockey jersey, I'd put it on my
Hmm.
dirt bike, I'd put it on everything. And so then when I decided I needed a name,
Hmm.
like like what's something I want to be strong, kind of deal. Okay, well 5.9 Built, when you think of Cummins, right? So
Yeah.
that's where that name came from. And then with that, like what I was saying just in the last little shot here, preach positive stuff. Like you can still be, aggressive and all
Yes.
that stuff,
Yes.
but be a happy person. You can still be a warrior in a garden instead of a gardener in a war.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd
Yeah.
rather be prepared and than be clueless kind of deal. So
Yeah. Yeah. Humble
so yeah,
warrior.
that's the deal. And then on top of that, like being able to do that and incorporate it with motocross is a win-win.
Oh
That's
yeah.
that's the whole deal.
Okay, okay. Now you say you wanted to empower and motivate and strengthen people by giving back. In which way do you feel that you've given back?
Just offering advice, just trying to open my door to people. Could I be trying harder? Of course, we can always try harder,
Mm,
but um, yeah, just being able to offer advice to make people's life a little bit easier
okay.
with some things that I've learned, whether it's on and off the track. I'll be honest, I don't. I mean, I can watch all the tip videos for motocross and tell you how to do that stuff, but so motocross tips are maybe not quite my area yet, unless
Hmm.
we're talking beginners,
Hmm.
but more on life experience and what I've done in that area, I can definitely help out with because, like I said, I've worked underground mining. I've, I work with adults with disabilities. So I
Hmm.
have life experience to offer other people.
There you go. Life is about learning to me, man. You learn and you learn from your mistakes, and you can use that information that you learn to pass to someone else to avoid mistakes. At the same time, that's a good thing, man. With that being said, man, let's get into some moto, man. Who do you got for? I know the race is coming up this Saturday, man. I'm bringing a smile to that face. I can't wait myself.
Okay,
I
let's go.
can't,
Let's
yeah,
go. Now,
let's go. It's round one. So
as
who do you
I
who do
don't,
you
I don't
got? Who do you got winning? Just winning? Do you think for the
winning,
450?
bro. I don't know, man. I can't go with I can't go Barsha four in a row. Like
Yeah.
I think he's dope. I think he's a cool guy. He looks badass on the gas cast.
Yep.
But
Barsha's good. He comes with the fire. Like I said in the video, he comes with the fire the first few rounds, man. And towards the end, his fire starts getting put out a little bit. Um,
so does Roxon. So does Roxon. But I want to say I'm gonna say I have a feeling I don't know why either
mhm,
Mookie
mhm.
or Chase.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think it's gonna be a little. I mean, Chase, he has experience. He's always fast. He's a good charger, but I think that the field is a little bit different this year, and he's gonna push a little bit. He's gonna have to push a little bit harder, and that may cause an injury. We'll see if he can get out of his comfort zone. You know what I mean, and see what he can do in his comfort zone and what he can't do in his comfort zone. So I'm curious what he's gonna do. Everybody's going to bring the heat, the first round for sure, man. But I think I still got my money on Eli. I mean, he's a veteran of the sport. With age comes, intelligence and wiseness and different decisions. But I think he's still got fight in him. A lot of the new guys are coming with heat, but they still lack the experience. So that's why I think Eli may come out. I mean, sometimes it takes to get his fireball rolling, but once he's rolling, man, he's like a train. Yamaha fan, huh? So is that? Let me ask you. Let me back it up a little bit. You got that Yamaha shirt on. You want a new 250? Is it number 59 going on a Yamaha when you get that bike?
Oh, you betcha. You
Okay,
betcha.
okay.
Uh, don't get me wrong. Like I love Eli and I love
Mm,
Dylan. Those are
mm,
my two one twos. Like
yep.
I love those two. But you try to take emotions out of it.
Yeah.
Uh, you really try to just focus on what's on the table.
Hmm.
Um, the reason why I say Mookie and Chase too is like it's kind of one of those one-off deals. I feel like it's kind of open,
Hmm.
and much like you're saying with starting fast and stuff, you have guys like Roxon, Barsha. Who else can come to mind? Anybody that fits that category that are fast starters, and then
Yes.
they seem to like fade out towards the end of the season. Justin Brayton is another one,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially when he was doing his off-season training, like
Hmm.
in his racing out in Australia. So, and then Eli, like I want to say Eli,
Hmm.
but like past years, he's had issues where he doesn't start out the greatest, but he
Yeah.
did finish solid last year. So we'll see.
I
We'll
heard
see.
some things about Eli. I don't want to put any bad news out there, but his contract ended with Kawasaki. Let's just say I heard it wasn't on a good note. So I think the energy there wasn't good. So maybe he wasn't giving his all, or maybe the team wasn't giving his all. I don't know. You know what I mean? But But with Yamaha, he seems to look happier. I mean, with all the tests, Yamaha is a good bike. We'll see what he can do, man. Well, there's a lot of veterans in the sport still that are still hard chargers. There's some kids coming up that are just as good. I can't wait to see what happens Saturday night, man.
Who do you have for 250? You think?
You know what? It's been a fluke with 250s, dude. It's like because nobody is really putting the information out there. It's starting to leak now, but we're like a couple days away. You know what I mean? So I wasn't really like, I don't know if you heard the news, but I actually got a little bit of news. Let me back it up to 450. Adam Cincerello, he's hurt. He's hurt. We're gonna go back to 250, but Adam Cincerello's not coming in 100%. There's Benny Bloss. He's out injured, and Josh Hill's going to take his place. That's going to be interesting to see Josh Hill on a KTM 450, just to kind of watch him. But let's go back to 250. There's a couple guys who's hurt in the 250 class. I got my notes here. Jet Lawrence, he's out with apparently broken ribs. Everybody's seen the video of him, coming up short. Wish him well.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you got Justin Cooper. Yep. And then you got Justin Cooper with a broken foot, and so I don't know, man. It's just depends. I mean, it's you still got Colt Nichols. I'm going with Jalik Swoll because he's riding the West Coast. I have to go with him. I'm thinking. He's got some years now on the bike. He's showed his speed. If he can just stay consistent, like I think he can. But last year he wasn't really the biggest charger. When he got out front, he can roll. But coming from behind, I think even in the 450s and the 250s, like it's gonna be hard to come from behind because everybody's fast, man. Everybody's fast. So I don't really have a certain guy.
And it's not like you have.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I said I don't really have a certain.
You don't have this. It's obviously we're a little bit delayed.
Yep. But go for it. It's all you. I give you the mic.
I was just gonna say you don't really have the space like you do outdoors. Like you saw flashes of Jalik. I can't remember which races they were, but he had the one national where he was running top 3 for the 2 motos. You don't have that open track, and you don't have the time like you do in outdoors. So to your point, good starts are definitely key. Definitely got to be hanging with Christian Craig off the line. And Colt Nichols with that Star Yamaha and how quick they start.
Exactly, man. So who do you got for your 250?
I don't know, man. I don't really have anybody right now, to be honest with you. To be honest, I keep it. It's funny because I'm a big fan of hockey, like in the leagues and stuff. But when it comes to motocross and supercross, I try not to have a single person I look for. But I don't know. I want to say Colt Nichols, I guess.
Okay, yeah, he's a top guy. I think he'll be a title contender for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so scattered out. You really don't know who's riding which and which coast. Yeah. They got the pro circuit team still up in the air. And I think most of those guys. Let me see. I got my notes here. Jet Reynolds.
What do you think of Hunter? What do you think of Hunter?
He'll be racing. He'll be taking his brother's position because he was supposed to race east. Now he's racing west. I think he's still got a little bit, to learn. But like I said, man,
do you think the west is going to hurt him?
I think so. I think it's a little bit different, man. I think the west is just. I think it's a little bit more technical. And I'm not sure if he's ready for something that technical on his spectrum, but I'm sure he is. He rides for Honda, but we'll see what he has to bring to the table, man. I'm curious of all these guys. I don't really want to pinpoint a guy that I'm going with for the 250s because, like I said, it's kind of been a shamble. Even to find out who's riding which coast, or everything's kind of been quiet with the team. So I'll let everything play out, and I'll watch a couple races, and I guess I'll make my decision from that point on.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that one.
Right on, man. Right on. So, what else? What else is good, man? What else in the racing? What else is going on with you in the racing and moto? Anything you
Well,
want to discuss?
hmm. Well, much like you, I wanted to freestyle it up here. So, hmm. Eh, Okay, so here's the thing about AC.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about a tough break because like it is hard to be a fan of the guy because I love the guy. How can you not be? He's
Yeah.
so good and
Yeah.
he's so great as a person
Mm-hmm.
and a great role model. But man, can you pull on the heartstrings? Like how like it's so frustrating when I mean obviously it's frustrating for him as well, but
Yeah.
God, it's hard because like you get so behind it. It's like okay, it's time. No, it's a little setback, a little
You.
setback. And it's like,
Yeah.
bro,
You know what though? Like, it's funny because a lot of guys just crash a lot. Some guys just, some people in life are just clumsy. They drop a lot of things. They run into things. I think Adam Cincerillo has that bug, man. He cannot stay off
yeah,
the ground. He's blazing
yeah,
fast. Stewart was the same way. You know how much Stewart crashed so much, but there's a
dude,
difference between him and Stewart because Stewart, he was more of a technical rider and he liked doing things that nobody was doing, so his chances were a little bit more slimmer than Adams. You know what I mean? And Adams blazing fast, but he can't seem to keep it on two wheels. I don't put my money on Adam, much as I like the guy and he is good for the sport. But if I was to have to bet, that's why I put him in top. That's why I put him in fourth. And now, like, he's out of my fourth already before the season even began. So
if he's running for mayor, you got my vote, bud. Yeah,
damn,
it's
damn.
tough, man. Like I was a big fan. Like I'm still obviously a big fan, but to
Yeah.
have my whole heart now, I have to give it to Dylan and Eli because
Hmm.
it was just it's too much. I'm already a Leaf fan. It's hard enough, but like my heart's it's hard.
Yeah, yeah, man. And Dylan, he's a good guy, but he's known, he's a French guy. They're known for that outdoor stuff and very technical. His riding style was just completely different. You know what I
I
mean?
like
And
his aggression. I love his
yes, yes,
aggression.
he can be aggressive and still be smooth and do little things that people don't really notice that he does. You know what I mean? And that's what makes him a great rider. I think it may take him another season to win a 450 title because outdoor is more his repertoire. But
Mhm.
he is getting so much better as once he has the Supercross figured out on the 450. I think he'll win a title.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, the whole French thing, like like they really come with the heat. Like they got that technical. It's funny because you think with the whole technical stuff, you would think that Supercross would be more up their alley,
Yeah.
but yet they seem to kind of like dance through the ruts and everything like that outdoors. It's kind
Yes.
of weird.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird that they how that works. But yeah, no, I'm really pushing for him, and I don't want to put too much pressure on it because I just kind of want to let it grow, right? I want to let it. He already won the outdoor championship. He's doing just fine. Just kind of let him come into his own.
Hmm.
Um, and again, also too with Eli, I don't want to put too much pressure into that either. Like he's killing it.
Hmm.
He seems to be killing on the test track, but as we all know, everybody kills it on the test track.
Yeah, yeah,
Woo!
yeah, yeah, man. That is true, man. Well, Josh, man, it was a pleasure having you on the show, man. I don't want to take up too much more of your time. We got to get you back on the show, and we can do some collaboration once the season kicks off, man, and we can go from there and see where we're at with it.
I appreciate this, man. It was so much fun. It was a great time. I hope I can be way better next time
Dude,
and
you're
bring
good now,
more.
man. Don't even man. You're a mentor. What are you talking about? Don't talk down on yourself.
No, no, no. We gotta be real. We gotta be real. That's part of being a mentor is being real with
Yeah,
yourself and knowing
exactly.
that you gotta improve every day. Every day is a challenge.
It is. It
So
is.
again, I really appreciate this. 5-9 Builds appreciates this. Keep doing what you're doing, man. Blacklisted MX is great. I really love watching all your videos and keeping informed with the up and comers just like myself and the pros that are killing it.
Mhm.
So thank you.
No, and thank you. I appreciate you even keeping up with all the videos and making the posts, man. It really brings a smile on my day, man. And I thank you for your time even coming on the show, man. I appreciate your energy. It was something different that we needed to the table, and I'm glad it was you, man.
Thank you. Thank
Not
you.
a
Have a
problem,
good
man.
day.
Yeah, you too, brother.